In the heartland of Nigeria, amidst the hustle and bustle of Kano, a child was born on November 25, 1960. His name, Ahmed Idris. Idris began his life in a world brimming with opportunity and strife, a world where the journey to success was often as tumultuous as the bustling streets of his hometown. Raised in a time of political upheaval and economic uncertainty, Idris's early years were shaped by the challenges and triumphs of post-colonial Nigeria. As he grew, so did his ambition. Idris pursued his education with a vigor that was indicative of his future ascent. His academic journey led him to Ahmadu Bello University, from where he graduated with a degree in accounting, laying the groundwork for his eventual career in public service. The years that followed saw Idris climbing the ranks of Nigeria's financial sector, his dedication and hard work propelling him forward. He served with distinction in various positions, demonstrating an aptitude for leadership and a knack for financial management. His tireless efforts did not go unnoticed. Idris's rise was marked by a steady ascent through the ranks of Nigeria's financial bureaucracy, each step bringing him closer to a position of immense power and responsibility. In 2009, Idris was appointed Director of Finance and Accounts at the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Here, he honed his leadership skills, managing complex budgets and overseeing financial operations. His tenure was marked by a keen eye for detail and a steadfast commitment to the principles of financial integrity. The pinnacle of Idris's career, however, was yet to come. After years of service, his dedication and expertise culminated in his appointment to a position of significant influence. A position that would ultimately shape the course of his life and the future of Nigeria. On June 25, 2015, Idris assumed the prestigious role of Accountant General of Nigeria. Little did the people know at that time the tale of power and betrayal that was about to unfold, forever changing the perception of this leader's legacy. But as the years passed, the facade began to crumble, revealing a darker side to Idris's leadership. Ahmed Idris, a man who once stood tall as a beacon of hope and progress, found himself in the midst of a whirlwind of allegations and accusations. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, or EFCC, was tasked with unraveling this intricate web of deceit. In May of 2022, the EFCC arrested Idris on charges of misappropriating a staggering 80 billion naira, funds that were meant to uplift the lives of ordinary Nigerians. This was not a simple case of embezzlement. It was a betrayal of trust, a slap in the face to millions of Nigerians who had placed their faith in Idris's leadership. The money, intended to fund critical public services, was instead allegedly funneled into bogus contracts and the acquisition of luxurious properties. The allegations did not stop there. Reports emerged of Idris making false claims and even committing perjury. It seemed that the man once hailed as a leader was now being seen as a symbol of the very corruption he had vowed to fight against. As the news of Idris's arrest began to spread, a wave of shock and disbelief swept through the nation. People began to question the integrity of a man they had once admired, and the trust that had been so painstakingly built began to erode. The allegations against Idris were not just about the misappropriation of funds. They were about the betrayal of a nation's trust, the squandering of its resources, and the perpetuation of a system that favored the rich and powerful at the expense of the average Nigerian. The arrest of Idris was a stark reminder of the deep-seated corruption that still plagued Nigeria's political landscape. It was a wake-up call for Nigerians, a call to demand greater transparency, accountability, and integrity from their leaders. As the allegations mounted, there was a growing sense of betrayal amongst Nigerians. The trust that had once been placed in Idris had been shattered, leaving a nation in search of answers, justice, and a path forward out of the shadows of corruption. The aftermath of Idris's actions was far-reaching, affecting the lives of everyday Nigerians. As the web of corruption spun by Idris unraveled, its impact was felt far and wide. It was not just about the mind-boggling figures that vanished into thin air, or the luxury properties that stood in stark contrast to the squalor around them. The real cost of corruption was paid by the average Nigerian, struggling to make ends meet, aspiring for a better life. Consider the healthcare sector. Nigeria, a country of over 200 million people, grappled with a healthcare system that was already stretched thin. With funds meant for hospitals and clinics disappearing, the situation turned from bad to worse. Imagine being sick and the nearest clinic is miles away. Imagine reaching there only to find no doctors, no medicine, and no hope. That was the reality for many Nigerians. The lack of funds also hit the education sector hard. Schools were left without teachers, textbooks, and even basic facilities. The dreams of children to learn and climb out of poverty were crushed under the weight of corruption. Every stolen naira was a stolen opportunity, a stolen future. Infrastructure too suffered. Roads remained unpaved, bridges unfinished, and essential services like clean water and electricity became a distant dream for many. In rural areas, this lack of infrastructure meant isolation, making it even harder for people to access healthcare and education. But the most tragic consequence of corruption was perhaps the loss of life. In hospitals, a shortage of resources led to untreated illnesses and preventable deaths. On the roads, the lack of maintenance resulted in accidents. In homes, the absence of basic services meant a lower quality of life and often a shorter one. The corruption of Idris was more than just an abuse of power. It was a betrayal of trust, a violation of the social contract between the government and its people. It was a reminder that when those in power choose personal gain over public good, it is the everyday people who pay the price. In the face of such adversity, it's easy to lose hope. But the story of Nigeria is not just one of corruption, but also of resilience. Despite the odds, Nigerians continue to fight for their rights, for transparency, and for a better future. Their spirit remains unbroken, their resolve unshaken. The lack of proper oversight and accountability under Idris's leadership led to suffering and even death. But it also sparked a desire for change, a demand for justice. It is a painful chapter in Nigeria's history, but it is one from which the nation can learn, grow, and build a brighter future. The people's cries for justice grew louder, echoing through the streets of Nigeria. As the allegations against Ahmed Idris came to light, the public's response was swift and resounding. The people of Nigeria, who had long suffered under the weight of economic hardship and systemic corruption, were not about to let this case of flagrant abuse of power go unnoticed. Protests began to erupt across the nation, from the bustling streets of Lagos to the quiet villages in the Nigerian countryside. Men and women, young and old, rich and poor, came together in an unprecedented show of solidarity. Their message was clear: enough was enough. They demanded accountability from their leaders, justice for the victims of corruption, and a commitment to a future free from the shackles of corruption. Their cries were not merely about Idris's alleged embezzlement. They were about every naira that had been stolen from the public coffers, every opportunity that had been crushed under the weight of greed, and every life that had been lost due to inadequate healthcare and infrastructure. Social and traditional media outlets buzzed with discussions about the scandal, further amplifying the voices of the Nigerian people. Hashtags like #JusticeForNigeria and #EndCorruption now trended on Twitter, reflecting the collective anger and determination of Nigerians. But amidst the outrage, there was also a sense of hope. Hope that this public outcry would bring about real change. Hope that this could be a turning point in Nigeria's fight against corruption. Yet the road to justice was not without its obstacles. Some questioned the integrity of the investigations, fearing that Idris, like many before him, would evade justice due to his high-profile status. However, the people's resolve remained unshaken. They continued to demand transparency, accountability, and justice in the face of adversity. Idris's actions not only betrayed the trust of the Nigerian people, but also perpetuated a cycle of poverty, pain, and hardship. But the people of Nigeria have made it clear: they will not be silenced and they will not rest until justice is served. As Nigeria grapples with the aftermath of Idris's reign, the nation stands at a crossroads. The echoes of misused power still resound in the corridors of governance, yet a new day is dawning. The fight for transparency, accountability, and justice continues unabated, fueled by the indomitable spirit of the Nigerian people. Today, Nigeria is more than a story of corruption. It is a tale of resilience, of a populace refusing to be silenced, of a nation striving for a brighter future. The journey will not be easy. The battle against corruption is a long and winding road, but there is hope in the struggle. There is promise in the fight. In every city, town, and village, Nigerians are standing up, demanding better, demanding justice. Their voices, united in purpose, are the beacon guiding the nation towards a new dawn. Only through collective action and unwavering determination can Nigeria rise above the shadows of corruption and pave the way for a brighter, more equitable future for all its citizens. Dear viewers, please join us on a journey celebrating Africa's remarkable achievements and making a positive impact. Subscribe to Impactful Africa to contribute to a brighter future for individuals and communities across the continent. Together, let's amplify stories of resilience, inspire change, and empower future leaders. Please subscribe now and be a catalyst for meaningful impact. Together, we can make a difference, one story at a time. I love you all.